Hello YouTube, how you all doing? Ebied here, back again with another rankings video. And this time today, guys, we are going to be looking at Pokemon Generation 2 Top 10. Now, as I said in the last rankings video, Generation 2 is the only game I never really got into. I know Hearts Gold and Soul Silver were out. I know obviously they were remakes of Gold and Silver, which were originally available on the Game Boy, and then, as I said, Heart Gold, Soul Silver brought on the DS, but I never really got into the generation, so this list is going to be an interesting one, as these are going to be my favourites more based on my experience of them in other games, and as well as the anime, as well as various other factors which make them my top 10 of Generation 1. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Number 10, we have Kingdra. Right, Kingdra is a dragon, okay? It's a seahorse, but it's a dragon. Just let that sink in. It is a seahorse dragon. Straight away, that's already a winner. This is such a cool looking Pokemon. Now, in Generation 1, I did actually really like Horsey and I did like Scizor. Now, the reason those two never made it into my top 10 of Generation 1 is because I knew there was something missing. Just one more push, one more evolution, which could make this just a brilliant Pokemon. And voila, what happened in Generation 2? They brought in Kingdra. Now, generally speaking, in terms of stats, it's not bad. Okay, it's not terrible. It doesn't have any base stats over 100, but it has 4 that are 95. Okay, it's not bad. For a dragon, yes, admittedly it is a bit lacking, as dragons do tend to be the most common pseudo-legendaries, but this Pokemon is in this list mostly because of what it is, a seahorse dragon. It's just phenomenal, and it looks gorgeous. And that is the reason it is number 10 on this list. Number 9, Houndoom. Now, this Pokemon's an interesting one because I think you could tell they were going for a bit of a creepy design when it came to this one. Can't really call it scary. I mean, it is at the end of the day on a game designed for children, so it's not going to be scary, but it definitely does have a creepy factor to it. I mean, it's got Doom in the name. Its Japanese name is Helga. Straight away, you know this is going to be quite an intimidating Pokemon. Plus, it's dark, fire, everything about it just screams Hellhound. And that's exactly what it is. It is a hound from hell. Houndoom. Now, not only this, its Mega Evolution is just phenomenal. Its bones just grow. It looks even more intimidating than it already did. On top of that, it has quite an interestingly wide move pool for what it is. Naturally, it being a dog, it learns all the Fang moves, so Fire Fang, Thunder Fang. I don't believe it learns Poison Fang, but it does learn other poison moves, such as Sludge Bomb. It also learns Psychic moves, if you can believe it. Rest, Dream Eater. It's got quite a wide move pool for what it is. And its base stats, generally speaking, once again, they're not bad at all, actually. You know, it's got a base special attack of 110 without its Mega Evolution. It Mega Evolves and that goes to 140, then it's something really impressive. But this is why it is number 9 on this list, and an excellent choice in my opinion. Number 8, we have Crobat. Now, Crobat's a bit of an interesting one because anyone who knows me knows I hate bats with a passion. They are actually my biggest fear in this world. And on top of that, it's one of the only Pokemon on any of these lists in which I actually don't like its pre-evolutions at all. Zubat, not a fan of. Golbat, it looks ridiculous, it's just a giant mouth with wings. But then Crobat came in, and I really liked Crobat, I think because it was a bit of a different design. The 4 wings element to it, just the way it evolves as well. It made me laugh when I realised that this evolves from Golbat through love. Through the trainer loving it, and rather through the Pokemon loving the trainer. And it's a funny one because you'd think, looking at it, being quite an intimidating, creepy bat, you wouldn't expect it to evolve through love, but it does. It's a flying poison type, and once again, its base stats, they're okay, they're not bad at all. Apart from its speed is actually phenomenal. It's actually one of the quicker Pokemon out there, and making it very hard to outspeed. You send this in with a Choice Scarf, it's not getting outsped by most things. Hence the reason this is number 8 on this list. Number 7, Girafarig. Very unusual one, I know. Now this is without a doubt one of the most nostalgic Pokemon on this list, and to be honest, on any other list. This Pokemon's on here purely because of nostalgia. And let me tell you the little story behind it. My second Pokemon game was Pokemon Pearl. And as I said before, I did what I think a lot of new people to Pokemon do, is I tried to solo the game with my starter. I hadn't properly understood the concept of getting together a good team. I thought, what's the point? I've got this one Pokemon that just wrecks everything in its path. Why do I need another? So I went into the Elite Four with Infernape, that was my starter at the time, Palkia, which is the legendary, and Girafarig. I don't know what it was. I saw Girafarig, I caught it, it was decently leveled. I thought, what the hell, let's use this thing. And for some reason, it worked like a charm, and it was brilliant to use. I don't know why it was so fun and why it was so great, but it was. And I have to say, I was very surprised when I saw the typing that it was normal Psychic. I knew it would be Psychic, but admittedly, I thought it would be Electric. It does learn Electric moves as well. And to me, if it ever gets a Mega Evolution, they are missing a trick if they do not make this Electric Psychic. Now its stats, nothing to write home about. I believe its highest base stat is 90 in Special Attack. But as I said, this is not on my list due to stats. It's completely in spite of its stats. It's on here purely because I love this Pokemon. I love it because of what it means to me, because to me it's one of the first Pokemon I ever properly used, ever. As I said, yes, obviously Pearl was my second game, Fire Red was my first, but at the same time in Fire Red I did the same thing I did in Pearl. I soloed it with Charizard. And whilst I came back to the games, I never really experienced it on my first run, as I didn't with Pearl. When I brought Girafarig, arguably that's what changed. It made me think, oh, actually it's quite fun to have different Pokemon, not just the one. Hence why it is number 7 on this list. Number 6, Feraligatr. So this is the first starter we have on this list, and I love Feraligatr. I think everyone who played Gen 2 loved Feraligatr. Its first evolution, Totodile, is just... It's weird because it's cute, but at the same time you can tell by looking at it it's going to evolve into something powerful, and it does. And at level 30 nonetheless, it's quite an interesting one because it's one of the highest levels when it comes to evolving into its second stage, but when it comes evolving into its final stage, it's actually one of the lowest at level 30, which is really something quite interesting. Now it's just pure water, but it does learn a very wide pool of moves. It learns ice moves, it learns poison moves, it learns dragon moves, rock moves, psychic moves, normal moves, fighting moves, dark moves, ghost moves. It can learn more or less anything you want to teach it, making it a very, very viable Pokemon actually for competitive play. As, to be fair, quite a few of the starters are, but Feraligatr I think is going to be chosen over any of the other Pokemon in Generation 2 when it comes to that. Its base stats are, once again, pretty good. It's a starter, so naturally it has mixed and matched stats. Its attack is 105, its defense is 100, everything else is below 100, but that's really all you need for a starting Pokemon. Hence why Feraligatr is number 6 on this list. Number 5, Typhlosion. Yes, now I know I said Feraligatr is going to be most people's first choice in Generation 2. Most people's except mine. Typhlosion is above Feraligatr in my opinion. Now, generally speaking, when it comes to picking starters, I'm a bit mixed, I'm a bit matched. I love most fire starters, however when it came to the games, now obviously this is excluding Generation 2 because that's the one I didn't play. Generation 1 I went fire, Generation 3 I went grass, Generation 4 fire, and then 5 and 6 I went water. Now, if I was to go for Generation 2, I know for a fact I would pick Typhlosion. The reason I like this Pokemon is actually down to the show. I remember Ash had a Cyndaquil, and I can't for the life of me remember if he ever evolved it, but I remember seeing a Typhlosion in the show. And I remember seeing this Cyndaquil originally, and I'm thinking, God, I wonder what that evolves into, because you just see all this fire coming off its back, and you're thinking, God, this must evolve into something pretty impressive. And then I saw Typhlosion, and the way the fire just erupted off its back, I was instantly like, what? That's amazing. And I loved it ever since, and it is actually my favourite of the Generation 2 starters. Now, Yeah, generally speaking, I don't like to have more than one starter on these lists. I don't. Generally speaking, if I can, I try to avoid it because I like to get a wide variety, but at the same time, when I can't help it, when two starters make it onto the list because they are genuinely my two favourites of a generation, that's how it's going to be. And hence why Typhlosion is number 5 on this list. Number 4, Scizor. Now this must have been expected. I mean, when you saw that Scizor was in my top 10 of Generation 1, you must have known that if it got an evolution, it was going to be in the top 10 of Generation 2. Scizor is just such an impressive mon. They changed it in its evolution from Flying and Bug to Bug and Steel. So obviously it has that quad weakness to fire, but at the same time it can make up for it with its stats. It's a bit of an annoying evolution, I'm not going to lie to you. Having to evolve a Scizor through trade whilst holding a metal coat makes getting a Scizor a bit irritating, but in this day and age with features such as Wonder Trade, it is actually a lot easier to get one. Its base stats are pretty impressive actually. It's got a base stat of 130 attack and 100 defense. Now that's impressive. I don't care who you are, that is impressive. On top of that, it also has a Mega Evolution, and I have to say this is actually one of the more interesting Mega Evolutions. Not necessarily the most impressive, but definitely interesting. I just love the design of Mega Scizor. I think there were more obvious designs they could have done, but this was the more interesting one and the more unique one, and I love the design of it, hence why it is number 4 on this list. Number 3, Lugia. Now, Lugia is an interesting one because it's actually one of the main legends of the Generation 2 games, along with Ho-Oh, who is the mascot, if you will, the mascot legend of Heart Gold, or Gold. Lugia is the mascot of Silver or Soul Silver, depending on which version you've played or whether you've played both of them. However, as I said, I've not played these games, so there had to be another reason why Lugia was on this list, and it actually goes back to the film that he was in. I believe, I'm trying to remember the name of the film that he was in, but it evolved. I think it was Pokemon 2000 or something like that. And Lugia was the main Pokemon in that. It also focused around the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos and Articuno. As you know, I love Zapdos, so seeing him in that movie instantly made that a cool movie. It was a great movie because it really showed Lugia in a Guardian-style role. And it was so interesting to watch him fight Zapdos, Articuno and Moltres single-handedly, and the fact that he could more or less hold all 3 of them off by himself, it instantly showed what an impressive and cool Pokemon he really is, and that is the reason he is number 3 on this list. Number 2, Tyranitar. Tyranitar is a Pokemon which I think when everyone gets one, they want to use it in some way. Because it's just, not only is it a cool Pokemon, it's also extremely viable in competitive play. Now, it is Rock and Dark, so it has that quad weakness to fighting, and that is arguably its biggest flaw. But other than that, its stats are actually incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive. 4 out of its 6 stats are over 110 in terms of base values. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. In fact, it's what makes it one of the, I believe, is it the first pseudo-legend on this list? Or on either list? I think it might well be. Not only that, it gets a Mega Evolution, boosting its stats even more to monstrous heights. Its attack is base 164 with this boost, defense 150, special defense 120 and HP 100. Now, it's not the quickest mon. It's not, as even if in its Mega, its base speed is only 71, but it's not the type of Pokemon which is designed to outspeed. It's the type of Pokemon which is designed to come in, take a hit, and crush anything in its path, and it does just that. On top of that, it learns some incredibly impressive moves. It can learn ice moves such as Ice Beam, Hyper Beam, Thunderbolt, Earthquake, Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Aerial Ace, Shadow Claw, Thunder Wave. It learns. It's got such a wide pool of moves, and it's just fantastic. And this is the reason it has nowhere else to go, no lower to go than number 2 on this list. Right, this is it. We've come to the end of our list. All that's left is the number 1 spot of Generation 2. Now, I'm not going to lie, it will come as a bit of a shocker, the Pokemon that it is, because it is part of a trio in which, generally speaking, I know it is not the most popular one. The trio I'm talking about is the legendary dogs themselves, in which I know for a fact Entei is the most popular. It is. I'm sorry, I know some people go, oh no, my favourite is Suicune or whatever, but I guarantee you that for the most part Entei will be their favourite. But for me, my favourite is not either of those two. No, my top Pokemon of Generation 2 is in fact Raikou. I actually like the design of Raikou more than Entei. I do. I love the design of Entei, don't get me wrong, I think it looks incredibly impressive. I really like the design of Suicune, once again, very impressive. But Raikou to me, I think is probably the most impressive in terms of design, and the reason for that is because of the animal it looks like. I know it's supposed to be a legendary dog, that's what they're all called. It doesn't look like a dog to me, I don't think it is a dog, but to me it looks more like a saber-toothed cat. One of my favourite animals ever to live on this planet. So when I first saw Raikou, I was like, oh my god, this is the saber-toothed cat of Pokemon, because if you ask me, they do need to actually bring another saber-toothed cat version into Pokemon. I'm trying to think now. I don't think they've got any others. Any other ones that represent saber-toothed cats as much. In fact, in my opinion, yes, I believe Raikou is the only one. Hence why I love it so much. Once again, it has a very wide move pool. Psychic, Dark, Water, obviously Electric, because that's what type it is. It can learn Fire, Normal, Ghost type moves. It's an incredibly impressive Pokemon, but arguably it's not the most impressive in terms of stats of the dogs, but to me it really hits me in my heart. I just love this Pokemon so much. I mean, let me read you this description, okay? Raikou embodies the speed of lightning. The roars of this Pokemon send shockwaves shuddering through the air and shake the ground as if lightning bolts had come crashing down. You cannot sit there and tell me that is not just power. That is power. And Raikou deserves no other spot than #1 on this list. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching my second rankings video. This has been Generation 2, obviously the next one will be Generation 3. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, drop a comment. Once again, tell me, what is your favourite Pokemon of Generation 2? What is in your top 10? Or even, what is your least favourite Pokemon of Generation 2? Let me know, please. Tell me. I would love to hear all your guys' opinions and which is your favourite Pokemon of Generation 2. Alright guys, thank you very much. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, let everyone you know about this video. And with all that, I'm going to get out of here. Alright, thank you very much guys. I've been Ed. I'll see you for the next rankings video. Bye!